It's slow and steady and may last weeks or even months. The assessment of Professor Michael Clarke on Ukraine's counteroffensive.
In a sense, we're still seeing the preliminary rounds of this contest while the Ukrainians try to probe across the battlefront to look for their best avenues of major attack. And I don't think we'll see those avenues opening up for maybe weeks or a month or more. It'll take a little bit of time yet.
The Ukrainians are focusing their attacks on three main points, shown in blue. Around the now infamous city of Bakhmut, they're attacking eastwards on both flanks. A second front has opened southwards from Velika Novosilka, 20 miles from Vuhledar in western Donetsk. 80 miles to the west of that, south of Zaporizhia, the Ukrainians attacked around Orikhiv. Here they're thought to be pushing south towards Tokmak, an important railway junction and a Russian logistics hub.
Russian discipline so far has been quite good. There's no sign of cracking, and there won't be any sign of cracking until the Ukrainians get into their third and fourth lines of defense, which is where their strong defenses are. And what the Ukrainians will probably try to do is unbalance the Russians in some way, force them to fall back quickly, and then create disorganization, because that's when Russians tend to crack, once their fixed lines, their fixed defenses are actually breached.
Up to now, the Russians have used their air assets sparingly, but the counteroffensive has seen Moscow push more aircraft and kamikaze drones into the fight. The Russian MOD claims this footage was shot from an Alligator attack helicopter as it destroyed 2 Ukrainian tanks. Moscow also released footage of an Su-25 and what it says was a sortie over the front line in Donetsk.
And the Russians are using their loitering munitions to really quite good effect. And so they're able to, as it were, strike in the rear areas. The Lancet loitering munition is working well for them. And so the Russians are conducting a very good static defense. They're not very good at dynamic defense. And when the Ukrainians can put them under enough pressure to make them have to defend dynamically, there may be a different story. But they're doing well enough at the moment. They've conducted local counterattacks, which haven't been particularly successful, but they've made the Ukrainians have to pause and pull back.
Ukraine's released this picture of a Bradley fighting vehicle, one of those damaged in a Russian strike last weekend, showing it under repair. Ukraine has possibly lost 9 of these and several Leopard tanks. No British Challenger 2 tank has ever been lost in combat, and as yet they're still being held in reserve. Professor Clarke says he expects the real test will come next month, when Ukraine's forces have to put all the kit and training they've received into action.
And one of the things that will be tested in this offensive is how much they have been able to absorb those Western doctrinal issues, particularly in running combined arms operations. We haven't seen it yet. We will see it, I'm sure, in the next month or 6 weeks. We'll see the beginning of a real combined arms operation. And that will be the acid test as to whether the Ukrainians can fight this war in a Western style, which we know is superior to Russian tactics, both in terms of soldier morale, command, equipment, and integration. It's superior in every way.
But this map shows the scale of the challenge Ukrainian forces face. Hundreds of red triangles, each one indicating a Russian defensive fortification. Most of these are some way from the current front line. Ukraine continuing to probe as it searches for a weakness, and the breakthrough it hopes will change the course of this war. Simon Newton, Forces News.